Welcome back. This week the students got the transmission out of the Windstar, and we got a considerable amount of work done on our SEMA build, which is a good thing because we officially have 13 days to make this thing presentable enough to get it into the SEMA show. Hope you enjoy it.
Past graduates James Goodall and Joe Carrot came in to lend a hand one night, and it's a good thing because these wheel studs were not coming out easy, and there were 24 of them. So we had to heat them up, push them out with a zip gun, and then knock them through with a sledgehammer. The hydraulic press was used to push the studs out from the front drums. We also used the press to push in the new ones. The team was at the show doing exhibition runs, and two of the people on this team are actually from the second team. They did a fantastic job filling in for the two that could not make it this day, and the crowd definitely enjoyed watching these young people at work. Here the students are talking with some of the spectators at the show, talking about what they've been doing and what they're going to do after they made their run. This is actually a real Shelby Cobra, not a kit car. Here's just a few of the cars that were displayed at the show. Here Harvin is working with a future hot rodder and showing him how he takes the head bolts out. My dad really liked this Oldsmobile, so I asked the gentleman that owned it if he could sit in it briefly, and she agreed. This is Mr. Tony Switzer along with the engine building team at the car show. Mr. Switzer came by with one of his cars, it's Ford Galaxy, and hung out at the show with us.
It's Saturday night and we're about to wet sand the car to get it ready for polish. It doesn't look bad as it is, but there's a couple of dry spots in one run. We're going to go ahead and wet sand the entire car though. It's going to look even better. So I got my 2000 grit on a soft pad with a squeegee. Just going to get busy sanding. Then we'll get it polished out and it'll be ready to put back onto the frame. So it does have a nice sheen to it, but if you look here closely where I've wet sanded, you can see a couple of rings there where there's been some dirt and a little bit of orange peel. We're going to get all that sanded out and polished, and it's going to look like a mirror. It's after 10 o'clock. We've got half the car wet sanded. Need to do the other half of the car, and then we're going to go ahead and put it on the frame and polish it then. So after a few more hours of getting that done, wipe it down, we'll be ready to mount this thing onto the frame. To avoid doing any damage to our new painted wheels, we're not going to be using the internal tooling that bites the wheel from the inside to hold it and support it, but rather we're going to be grabbing it from the outside, and I've also put a couple of layers of duct tape on that so that it doesn't mar the paint even on the back side. So we'll get the tire mounted and get them aired up and get ready to put them on the car. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank our most recent sponsor to our build, Coker Tire. When I got off the phone with Miss Marla Moore from Coker Tire a couple of weeks ago, she said they were very excited to donate the tires for our build. So this new Coker Classic is a tire that they're promoting, and they were excited that it was going to be on another vehicle at the show. So again, thank you Coker Tire and Miss Marla Moore, and we're going to see you in Vegas in a couple of weeks.
Well, it's not. Watch out, stop. Go down.
It's been almost 3 years since the body has been on the frame. They're about to be reunited once again. I want to thank James Goodall, to Joe Curett again for coming out, but also Mike Bigg, another past graduate who came out to work with these young people to show them how to correctly mount a body back onto a frame, especially when you're trying to be extremely careful not to damage anything from all the work that you've done.
How close is that back here? Getting close? Is it getting close back there?
Yours started? Mine's giving me enough threads. I don't know. Unless we just take off one of the bigger ones right here.
Picking up where we left off, it's time to get the driveline cradle out.
There it goes.
The starter is removed to gain access to the torque converter nuts. Here we're rotating the engine from the front so we can get the flex plate turned until we get the torque converter nuts lined up in the window to remove them. Here the half shafts are taken out. A few more mount bolts and it's ready to come out.
Alright, you ready to go that way? Okay, ready. But don't push it against the passenger side. Just push, like, just fold it up. There you go. I think we're good. Good or clear? Good quick. No fire. Alright, should be good. Alright.
This is that bolt that was using a ball joint nut for a shim. You can see about 3 threads up where it's damaged pretty bad. We're going to chase this with a die and we should be able to put it back into service. So we're also running a tap inside of the engine block to make sure that all the bolts go in smooth. Next time on Bulldog Builds, with the bad transmission out of the Windstar, we'll get prepared to put the good one back in. And with the body finally mated back to the frame on our SEMA build, we'll see how much further along we can get next week. See you then.